From the big chop to the blowout.
Hey everyone. Whoa.
Sorry, I forgot to mute my phone. Yeah, we're good.
No, we're good. Can everybody out in unplanned downtime land hear us and see us? Because the tech difficulties are coming in hot tonight. So maybe? Possibly. I feel like there's maybe a delay.
Yeah.
Can everybody hear us? See us? We all good? Hopefully.
I mean, my YouTube stream is working.
Okay.
I don't know about audio because it has to be muted. Okay, we're good. Yeah, David says we're good.
Okay. All right. Yay!
Yay!
We conquered the tech difficulties. Sorry, everybody. We're usually, even when we're late, we're not that late. But tech issues abound. I have the conspiracy theory that it is Chapek coming and getting us because we are going to talk about the current state of the parks. So for those of you that have been with us for a while, we did a show back at the very beginning of the year with kind of our hopes and dreams and aspirations and things that we were hoping to see from the Disney parks. And so since we're kind of halfway through the year now at this point, peak season is taking off. We were going to do a little check-in and see how it's going. Oh, did we lose Maddie?
Oh no. I think we did. What is happening?
Okay. Maddie, if you want to try to reconnect, sorry, give us 2 seconds. I will fix the stream. But until we do, we're just going to keep it rolling because, again, I'm fully convinced that this is now a full-on conspiracy to keep us from talking about the current state of the parks because it's not great. So
it's just
I mean,
not.
Spoiler probably for the rest of the show, but like I said, we did have some hopes, some dreams, some aspirations of what we wanted to see from the parks. I know my big thing was just an improved guest experience. And, you know, we could keep going on that all night, but I'm going to kick it over to Emma first while I try to fix our tech difficulties. And Emma, you would like to take it away?
Sure. By the way, Gina's here, everyone. Well, I guess for me, and I mean, I know I go on about entertainment all the time. I guess the good thing is that we've had those announcements like coming back. You know, even though it's not the same as it was, like we have a Finding Nemo musical coming to Animal Kingdom that I'm guessing is in rehearsals or in the works right now. That's going to open soon. Fantasmic, I think, isn't that coming back to this coast as well? I believe. Am I freezing?
So I think it's going to be different.
Okay. But anyway, yeah. That's right. Because they're changing the scene, the Pocahontas scene to Frozen, and something else. Like there's something else. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, point is, Fantasmic is coming back and it's being improved. Yes. And you know that we have Indiana Jones, the stunt show back. Thank God. You know, again, we're still missing Streetmosphere, but I think there has been some improvements, so I think that's good. My biggest concern is with the Park Pass reservation system and that whole thing that Chapek was touting that so highly, which and the biggest problem with that is that, you know, Disney is trying to get away with as few cast members working as possible and limiting the amount of people that they have in their parks as much as possible for a better guest experience, supposedly, which that's completely not the case because it's still very crowded and very long wait times, where really it's just they're trying to make do with the short staffing problems that they've been having, and again to pay less people as well. So that's my big concern right now is the park pass reservation system and crowds and how that's not being handled well at all.
I would have to completely agree with that. Oh, I think we have an echo now. Matt, you back?
I think so.
Yay!
Yay!
Hey.
Okay, it kicked me off and then it allowed me back in.
Oh, good. Okay. As long as you're back, it's fine.
Okay.
So with that, Maddie, I know you weren't able, unfortunately, to join us when we originally did the show, but I mean, what are your thoughts on the current state of the park versus where we were maybe at the beginning of the year or even pre-COVID?
So I think now where we are post-pandemic, kind of like slightly getting back to normal yet not normal, we're way surpassed the crowd levels of where it was pre-March 2020. I mean, I'm a reporter for WDWNT. I'm in the parks almost every day, and I push a stroller. And I like to gauge crowd level based on how hard it is for me to push my stroller just through the streets of Magic Kingdom, through Animal Kingdom. And it's hard. There are people and guests who feel like they need to get everywhere so fast that they will hop over a stroller with a child in the stroller because it's that crowded. There's not enough cast members to support the crowds, and it's either Disney doesn't want to hire and pay more cast members, or they can't get anybody else to work for them because they're not treating their cast members with the respect that their cast members deserve. And it gets to the point where, as a guest in the park and also as a pass holder, we're not getting the same experience that we were once able to receive pre-March 2020. So I have a lot of feelings on this topic because I do experience it almost on a daily basis, and I experience it as just a Disney adult and also as a Disney mom. I take my little kids there, and it's hard. No kid wants to stand in a line for 60 minutes for Winnie the Pooh. And no parent wants to pay $15 every time you're going to go through a lightning lane. So I
Well, and
think
even with the lightning lane, it's still not good.
Oh no, true, very true. I saw some pictures of the
Yeah.
reporter that was in the parks today. Lightning lane was longer at Princess Fairy Tale Hall, than it was for Standby.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. It's just crazy to me. Do I still love going? Do I still love the atmosphere when I get there? Yeah. Do I want to stay all day with the crowds and all these people that are just revenge traveling and revenge vacationing because they're so angry they couldn't do it for a few years? Not in particularly. It's annoying to fight with somebody over a parade spot. Like, you watch the parade. I've seen it before. It's not worth it at this point. But I think it's also up to the cast members. I think it's up to Disney too to fix it.
I was told I was echoing. Is it better without my headphones? No, it's not. Just kidding. It's not. Just kidding.
What is happening? I'm gonna put your headphones on because I think that definitely made it worse.
It's not my phone volume, people. My phone volume is off. Okay. I don't know what's going on.
I don't either. Oh, wait, I know.
Are we good?
I don't hear it anymore.
Maybe now? Is that better?
Are we fine?
Nope. Hold on. I'm sorry, everyone. Tonight is such a painful.
Yeah. Welcome to WDWNT, where we have lots of unplanned downtime like this. Not unlike the Disney Skyliner. Yeah, sorry guys about the noise. We're sorry. We're trying to work it out. Clearly it was annoying my cat too because she left. It's fine.
Is that better?
Is it? Did it work? Something worked.
Something did work.
Maybe.
Maddie, I hate to say, but I think it was you. Because of this.
Oh no, now we can't hear her.
No, I know. Because I had to turn her input off and now the echo stopped.
Oh. Darn.
I'm sorry. So I tell you what, I'm going to flip over. Maddie, if you want to maybe try to find some headphones or something, and then we can go back. And just message me and let me know when you find them.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, everybody. Again, we have errors. But anyway, but I have to co-sign everything that Matt's saying is little kids. I went, was it 2 weeks ago now? It was right at the end of April. And $300 for 2-day tickets that were not even park hopper tickets. A girlfriend of mine went, we did a conference, so we took the kids basically the week before Mother's Day. We went Sunday before Mother's Day to Animal Kingdom, and then the Saturday was absolutely insane. And I don't know what kind of monkey business they're doing with the lines because, when we were at Animal Kingdom, it was the most bizarre thing. I kept checking wait times for Flight of Passage, and because we had 2 littles with us under 2, we weren't going to be able to probably do, even with Ride Exchange, we weren't going to be able to leave one of us with the kids for almost 2 hours. But I was just kind of curious because everything else, there wasn't like huge wait times, but there were just people everywhere. And it was interesting because at one point, Safari went down. So I'm guessing like an animal in the road or something, but they completely dumped the queue and everything, shut it down. And then at another point, they had shut down the single rider line for Everest, which was really kind of bizarre to me. And they wouldn't let you back into they were claiming because it was a control issue. They didn't want single rider to back up, because Everest was at like an hour wait at that point. And they didn't want single rider to like back out into the store entrance where everybody's trying to leave. So they were shutting it down. But what was weird is then everybody was just crowding around the entrance to the single rider line, which was completely defeating the purpose of crowd control, of which you stated, and you were just letting everybody hang out there. You weren't telling them that they needed to move or anything. And then reopen the single rider line until it was completely empty. And then they would open it, let it fill completely up again, and then they would close it again. It was just the most bizarre crowd control I've ever seen. But in the midst of all of that, Flight of Passage, never over a posted 1.5 hour wait. Explain to me how this is possible. Like, I don't understand.
I mean, honestly, I think it's the lightning lane screwing things up. And like,
I really think
I
it
don't.
is.
Well, part of it, I think it is the lightning lane because, and this also came out recently. I can't remember which article it was on the site, but that they're gonna limit. Oh yeah, because starting June 8th, there you can only buy Genie Plus day of, and they're
Mhm.
gonna limit on certain. Well, it's gonna be subject to availability. So in other words, you can't just everyone and their brother can't just purchase it. There's going to be a limit on
Mhm.
it. I guess in particular on holidays. Which makes sense because the lightning lane lines have been super long, and
Yep.
that's the thing. If
Mhm.
you don't limit how many, well, and that's the thing that doesn't make sense either, is because there should be, just like the fast pass system, there's a limit to how many people that should be going through that queue every hour, and clearly there's not. Which makes sense. If you have X amount of people buying Genie Plus, you need to have that capacity for those people to book things, so then you have to let more people through that queue so they're like getting their money's worth. But then you have that problem, like Maddie was talking about, or you were talking about at Princess Fairy Tale Hall, where the Genie Plus line is even, or the Lightning Lane line is even longer than standby, which
Mhm.
is ridiculous. That should not happen. Which, I mean, in hindsight, though, hopefully that'll actually deter people from buying Genie Plus, and we'll get the old fast pass system back eventually. Or
Uh,
it'll be improved at least. I don't know.
so I don't think it's going away. Um, there's a comment in the chat from Demis. How do you think they'll make it up? I think, especially now that they're going to limit it to night before. And I saw it floating around on Twitter. Belle, I can't remember her whole handle. I apologize. But I actually saw her pause it out on Twitter when we broke the story, that, variable pricing for Lightning Lane is coming next. And I think she's absolutely correct. I don't think it's going to stay at $15. I don't
No.
think that they may limit it slightly, and may go back to using the old math from the FastPass system, because the thing that never, I mean, I guess it does, but Jill and I were talking about it the other day. The thing about Lightning Lane that has never made sense to me is the hell that it is playing on the queue lines, because they had a system. They had for them. Had all the science and all the math and all the data. Why did you not just copy that and paste it into this new paid system? Because it's not like everybody can get a fast pass or a Genie Plus, whatever. I'm calling it Fast Pass Plus. I don't care. Mock me. You could get a fast pass for Space Mountain, but you couldn't always get one. So, and you've already declared that Lightning Lane is not guaranteed and is subject to availability. So I've never understood why they didn't just take, and it's very clear that they didn't just take the old math and port it into this new system. It would have been seamless. You probably would have had more people buying it, even if they didn't get the high value fast passes that they wanted all the time, because you wouldn't feel doubly cheated when you don't get that fast pass, but you're still waiting 30, 45 minutes in a fast
Right.
pass line.
And so that's
oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, but I think that's why so maybe I think they're trying now to figure out the balance which again is dumb that they didn't keep the data before, but I think the issue is because, remember, the Lightning Lane lines were shorter, or were going faster, but then the standby lines were becoming insanely long. So and that's the problem with free fast pass. You could kind of justify moderating it a little more, so that way both lines are moving slowly, so that way or smoothly, I should say, so that way you had a shorter wait than the standby line, but you weren't paying separate for it, so it didn't have to be like immediate. Where I think that's the problem with the with paying for it now is people are like, oh, well, I'm going to pay to skip the wait, so I shouldn't have to wait at all. And so then, you know, so that's the thing. They were letting all those people through and none of the standby line. But then obviously then people are going to complain about the standby lines being insanely long. So I think now they're trying to find that balance. And because they because they set it up with the capacity, I guess, to sell X amount of Genie Plus or not have a cap on it, I guess, that you know what I'm saying. And now that they're letting they're slowing that line down, it's making it longer.
But the thing that still hasn't made sense to me is that, again, you don't necessarily have to cap the sales of Disney Plus, but you have all of them already there. You know, why not just copy that math? Again, you weren't always guaranteed a Space Mountain Fast Pass. So why didn't they just take the math and import it over? It still doesn't compute to me. I don't think it ever will. And I hate myself a little bit, but again, we were two moms who were there with two littles under 2. And so when we went to Magic Kingdom, and because I had done, you know, a little bit more like reading, I read back through our articles to see how Lightning Lane actually worked. And this is another complaint that and really just overall guest experience. I think that was the thing that I found the most back in January, just improving guest experience. And they have made it so convoluted, and they clearly just don't care. Even when you buy Lightning Lane, it is not made abundantly clear to you how it works. And this was my experience. So Saturday, the day before, we decided that we were going to purchase Lightning Lane. My sister was going with us to Magic Kingdom, but again, still 2 littles under 2 and three adults. And we knew it was going to be super hot. So we're like, we'll try Lightning Lane. I did a little bit more research and realized it worked because you can purchase your first one and then 2 hours later, you can purchase a second one. Okay, great, cool. You don't have to actually wait to use the first one. But they don't explain that to you when you purchase it in the app. So you wake up at 7 o'clock. And for instance, my first Fast Pass was Lightning Lane was for Peter Pan, and I think it was at like 11:30, which was great. We weren't going to get there right at rope drop. This worked out beautifully. But I woke up at 7 a.m. Right. And after the convoluted process of even purchasing the Lightning Lane, well, let me take that back. Purchasing it was very easy. Buttons in the app, boom, boom, added my party. We're done. I've paid my $45. Everybody leaves happy. Back in reservations, annoying. Nowhere in the app to you that you can still in and make a new reservation, even if you to redeem your first reservation for several hours. So first at 1 p.m. that I could still go in 2 hours, like 2 more hours later, and try to get a different reservation. It was just so annoying, and it, in some ways, I would say it worked out because we were with little kids, so we weren't a lot of big things. Again, Mountain, not even really considered an option for us. I was not paying more money for Mine Train. They can take that. So on top of the $15. I mean, even when I was recounting it to Jill, I actually stopped and thought, I was like, okay, yeah, we rode Pan, Small World. We did PhilharMagic, which we did not get a Lightning Lane to, obviously, but we did Pan, Small World, Philhar, Winnie the Pooh, which we got one for, Pirates, which we got one for. Us adults rode Big Thunder Mountain. That was it. That was all we did at Magic Kingdom. We did attractions, but we didn't ride anything in Tomorrowland, not even, or anything like that. So we completely missed. We only did about half of Fantasyland. in Adventureland, we only did Pirates. We didn't do, well, I say we didn't do. Frontierland, we only did Big Thunder, and we had to, but had we not had fast passes, we wouldn't have been able to do that. And again, we only did Pirates. We missed 2/3 of the park. That's crazy to me. Even before, with the fast pass system, if I couldn't get fast passes, and I will acknowledge I'm moving a little bit slower now that I have a baby in tow, but I still could have hit almost the entire park in a day. Even in the summertime, I probably could have seen at least 2 or 3 attractions from each land.
Right.
More than I saw, and I paid $150. Do the math. I paid $170. $70 total just for my ticket when you add up Lightning Lane. It's 2 of what I was paying to see. Crazy. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's insane.
Bonkers.
And this is the thing, you know. Right. And so this is my big thing too about, and I get it about the planning. I get it that Disney is hard to plan for. It's a lot. It really is a lot. It's a lot now. In fact, it's more now, even with this day of stuff, than you had before, when you could book your dining sooner and you had your fast passes sooner, whether it was 60 or 30 or 90 if you were staying club level or concierge level, whatever that is. But that's the thing. It's like, if you, with the old fast pass system, you had 3 guaranteed things that you had a shorter wait for in that day. And you knew that ahead of time. You were not in your phone like you are having to do every 2 hours now. Like, and you have to definitely have to have a dedicated person who's on that, who can be like, boom, 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 who knows how to do it and get it if you want to really make the most out of Genie Plus. And, you know, you're not enjoying your day. You're just, if anything, God forbid the app goes down, or God forbid you're relying on the Disney Wi-Fi for your phone if you don't have a good data plan, or if you don't have a good connection in the parks, because God knows there are so many parts where, you know, even in Magic Kingdom, like, it still drops out. I mean, you know, how many issues have we had on streams with things dying for a couple minutes? You know, that's the thing. It's like, and I get it, it was a lot of planning before, and then it was complicated, but one, I think there is a reward for planning ahead and, you know, knowing to plan ahead. I think that's a good thing. And 2, you know, again, even if you have to wait in line and other things, at least you have those guaranteed 3 things that you have a shorter wait for. Like, that's, you know, and I feel like that's more enjoyable. And you know, I would have been okay if they had brought Max Pass over to this coast. That would have been fine, because then we still would have had the old fast pass system used. Like, whether you wanted to pay for it, you still got 3. Didn't matter. Like, and honestly, this whole Lightning Lane thing has just screwed up the guest experience so much. And unfortunately, I think you're right, Ashley. I don't think it's going away, and I want it to go away, but I really don't think it's going to. I think it's here to stay, and unfortunately, that doesn't bode well for the future of the guest experience in the parks.
Clearly, it's becoming very apparent that unless something drastic, they are they're to get repeat customers. Because if I wasn't already a die Disney fan, and I say this officially because I have taken on this, and I say it a little selfishly. Had I not taken her, I don't know that she would have loved it as much as she did. Because trying to figure it out on your own, I couldn't even imagine. I mean, I have, you know, coworkers and people asking me all the, what do I do? What do I need to know? And I feel so bad, because obviously I have a reputation that I have an obsession. I can give you an hour-long PowerPoint on just about everything, right? And even I'm to the point where I'll straight up, I'm happy to answer like general questions, but the way I used to people plan their Disney trips, I won't do it anymore. I'm in the direction of an actual vacation planner. it is entirely too much now, and it's constant changing, and it's none of it is, and I'm just so confused as to why. Everybody would have been so much happier if you want the $15 from Lightning Lane. You could have rolled into the amount of a ticket. People would have paid it. You could have kept free fast pass. Everybody wins. Everybody's happy.
Agreed.
Because it used to be like when I was in traditions, they would talk about treat everybody the same, and everyone's here to make memories, and we want to do that. And they back then, some families will save up for years to do this, and the average family spends, I think at the time it was like for a week-long vacation, I think it was like $5,000, I think is what they quoted.
It's still a lot of money, even whenever you did it then.
It's a lot of money, but guests weren't seen as commodities. And even though Disney was in the business of making money, you did it the way that Walt always said. You build something of value, they will come back. And now it's just, it's not even hidden anymore. It is an open secret that they don't care as they're getting their cash from you. And I constantly hear and see people all the time at the parks now. Yeah, they're happy, but I don't think they're coming back. And I constantly hear them say, "None, we're never doing this again." I mean, if I wasn't a Disney fan, and again, I paid $170 for a ticket to go sweat my tail off with my kid, and I ride only a third of everything, and I've paid extra to do so, forget it. I'm not coming back. I will take my happy self to Dollywood, to Six Flags, or to nowhere because it's hot as sin, and just be happy. I mean, it's absurd. They don't care about the guest experience, and I don't know what's going to change other than in a year or two, where again, people aren't coming back because they've done their revenge travel, they've experienced it once, and forget it. It's not value. And so
yeah. Now, I feel like there's hope in a few years down the road. I think that I agree with you, Ashley, about once revenge travel is over and once people have such a bad experience that they're not coming back and they tell other people not to do it. Like, I think we're gonna, that might take 5 to 10 years to really for them to take a hint, the bean counters and everything to really see the effects of that. But I honestly think that Universal is gonna give Disney a run for their money with Epic Universe, because like once that park is there, people are gonna spend their time at Universal. They have 3 parks. You can stay on their property at those top tier hotels and get express pass included with your stay, including the day that you check in and the day that you check out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is a much better guest experience. As a pass holder, I enjoy going to Universal more, knowing that I can just go in. I don't even have to deal with the reservation system and none of that. I can park for free in the regular parking. I don't have the premier pass, so I don't get valet for free. But still, I can park in the standard parking for free. Like, I enjoy. I love City Walk. I love the restaurants that they have there. I feel like they keep stepping up their game. Like, they're going to have an escape room there. I mean, hello. I love escape rooms. People, that's a thing, that people my age love. Hello. For some reason, I don't know. But that's the thing. I feel like Universal is just doing a much better job with the customer experience, with the guest experience. And I think they're treating their team members better too. Like, I've seen a couple of my friends in entertainment who used to work for Disney who are now working for Universal. Cause I mean, that could be, I'm sure if they had their jobs open at Disney, they would have gone back, but because, they weren't going to be rehired. They jump ship, which I don't blame them. I don't blame them for like going to Universal, especially if they're going to treat you better there. I mean, I wouldn't know. I don't know the ins and outs of the contracts or anything. But anyway, Ian, I honestly think once Epic Universe opens, which I can't remember what year it's slated for in Orlando at this point. I think at 20, I don't even know. Somebody go look it up for me on the website and tell me. So, yeah, 5 sounds right. Maybe 7.
5, 6,
7.
maybe. I'm
Oh.
not. Yeah, 7. And I don't want to keep being negative because I feel like we could just keep on repeat the same thing.
Pretty Cool says summer 2025 is when it's slated for.
Right. It all comes down to guest experience, and I think we had a lot of hope going into 2022. I think a lot of us were hoping that now that Chapek was, firmly ensconced, Iger was gone, that maybe he wouldn't be keeping such a close eye on the parks, and maybe Demaro could step in and start rolling some of these, bad things back and improving guest experience. And, I know we're harping on the money and everything. I don't mind paying for it if it's of value. Again, I tried Lightning Lane, had handout better. As much as I hate it, I might would have paid for it again, at least when I'm there with my kid. Because Nature of the Beast things like Fantasyland, even before, even if it's a 20-30 minute wait, that's a long time. And, if I could pay for it and skip that, okay, fine. But clearly that's not panned out. I think we as Disney fans have to start accepting the fact that Demaro is not, I don't think, the good guy that he originally portrayed himself to be. I don't think he's going to be the hope for the parks that we thought he was going to be. Again, when Jill and I were talking the other day about the show, I just keep hearing and seeing the scene from episode 3 in Star Wars when they're fighting on Mustafar, and Obi-Wan is like, yes, you were the chosen one. You were supposed to help defeat the darkness, not join it, or the dark side, whatever it is he says. Forgive me.
Yeah, I have the high ground.
But but we don't have the high ground, unfortunately.
No, we don't. Sadly,
they still have all of my memories and unhealthy devotion, and they have the high ground, but that's the image that I keep seeing in my head. So I think I think the only way that we can improve the experience is really just hope that the rumors that Chapek is not going to be CEO for much longer come to fruition. And I get it. At the end of the day, Josh has a job that he has to do, but and he wants to keep his job, and we were giving him a lot of grace there for a while, but I think it's very, very clear that he's not going to make the changes that we want. And maybe part of that is because Chapek is in charge and is still penny pinching the parks far more. But I think our only real hope now for the parks is, one, to still go. No, I don't necessarily think boycotting the parks is going to help, but I think, keeping the pressure on Chapek, and maybe even turning some of that pressure on to Demaro himself, and making him, Chapek does get a lot of hate, and he's starting to get a lot of hate openly, but you do kind of have to look at Demaro too and be like, well, I mean, they're your parks now. Everybody wanted to. I mean, I don't think it's fair that when Iger was in charge, we blame Chapek for the parks because, well, he's head of parks and resorts. Iger has the whole thing to run, and clearly it's not helping. But the fact that we're not putting any pressure on Demaro himself, I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's even fair to Chapek at this point. I think, some of it does have to come from Demaro, and some of that pressure needs to be turned on him.
No, I agree. And the other problem is and this is where I'm torn with going to the parks, right? It's like boycotting the parks. Unfortunately, the people that it's going to affect the most, and who it's already affecting really, is the frontline cast members. It's going to affect
Mhm.
them first. I mean, well, that being said, though, they're already on a bare bones staff, like I said. So, like, how I don't see how they could make any more concessions. Like, I really honestly don't. But anyway, like that's the thing. It's gonna affect them the most. And not that I'm trying to start a Twitter war or make Twitter more of a toxic place than it already is. But the one thing that does seem to work is if you say something publicly and if you complain publicly and publicly shame that if you publicly shame them. And again, I'm not trying to endorse being hateful on social media. That is not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying if you want it, like, and I think this works. I think it works for cast compliments, and I think it also, like, you can positively say something about someone on Twitter and it works, and I think you can say something negative and it's gonna make more of a stink than if you, I don't know, fill out a survey and one of their surveys that they send you, randomly on your trip. Unfortunately, I think that's the only thing that's really going to work immediately. Again, I think, any financial hit is going to take 5 to 10 years for that significant turnaround to happen. I, and that's the thing. Like, it's a shame that, again, like fans who really want to go and really enjoy it are having a hard time with, again, justifying the cost of it all and what's going on in the current JPEG regime, if you will, uh and their love of going to the parks and wanting to get their fix. That's the thing. I'm like, I really want to go. Like, I haven't been, I was down there for the marathon show, but I maybe went to the parks twice. So I'm like really kind of itching
I didn't
to
even
get
go
back. But with
then.
how you didn't even go then. But that's the thing. It's like, because of how terrible of an experience it is, and then with how high the crowds are right now, I'm like, I don't even know if it's going to be worth my time and effort. I might just go to Universal and call it a day.
Mm-hmm. I mean, am I going to go for my daughter's first birthday? Yes, I will. Do I have a select number of things that I want to do that probably have nothing to do with attractions? Yes, I do. And I think that therein is actually where I find the hope for the parks. Even if it's in the little things, they've brought back the silhouettes. You can have a silhouette done on Magic Kingdom.
The barbershop is coming back.
The barbershop is coming back. I was so excited to hear that because, again, I remember I actually screamed so loud my husband came and checked on me because he thought something had gone horribly wrong.
That's great.
Well, it's one of those things I had always wanted for and I was thoroughly convinced that it wasn't going to be able to happen because the barbershop wasn't going to reopen. But if rumors are true, it's coming back end of July. Her birthday is in August. I guess I'll probably have to figure out how to get her a reservation. But therein is where I find the hope for the parks. I think if we can keep getting those things back and demonstrating that those things are valued and give them praise, and and I think that's how, especially as Disney fans, we make it, we use our voice to make it better. Voice the things. Don't always just go to guest relations to complain. I know, obviously, if you're having a major issue, but, I would encourage people, when they bring something back that we love, the Dapper Dans, just,
yes,
entertainment in general, go to guest relations, say it on Twitter how much you love having it back.
Yes.
Because I think I do get the impression that they have, especially Chapek himself is doubling down on he does not care about people complaining online. You could say all the things about how he butchered don't say gay bill and everything, and that PR nightmare that it was and still is. But I think at the end of the day, he's so used to getting hate. I don't think continuing to hate on him is going to work. I think going
No, I agree. Yeah.
and enjoying those things that we enjoy and making our voices heard about what we enjoy is actually going to do a lot more in the long run. Even if he's not listening, I'd have to imagine that there are people that will hopefully be in his position or other positions of power very soon that are going to listen.
Well, and that's the other thing. As far as people who can listen, like, tell a cast member. Like, if you go and you see, especially since Hoop-de-Doo is coming back. Yes, thank God. Anyway, I'm so excited about that.
Tell it out.
Yes. Make a point of going to see it. Like, if you haven't, and I get it that Fort Wilderness is a hike. I get it. I understand the buses are a pain in the you-know-what. But, like, make a point of going and doing those things if you've never done them on your trip before.
You'll sing karaoke on the bus. It's great.
Right, it'll be awesome. You know, but like, go again, tell a cast member about the great experiences. Like, tell people how excited you are to see these things back, because then, you know, hopefully their managers will hear about it. And again, word of mouth is the best way to spread things around, to be honest, you know, about anything really. So, you know, just again, I think I agree. I think sharing the positive things, like, you know, again, you're right. I think public shaming only goes so far, which again, you know, can be effective. I mean, but you're right that Chapek doesn't care. But yeah, sharing the positive things.
Yeah, it's only going to get us so far, and it's very, you know, very demonstrated and played out that, you know, yeah, if mainstream media starts dogging him for something, or, you know, it's something that, again, the Don't Say Gay bill, that did get a reaction from him. Again, it was a panicked reaction, but hey, they got his attention for something. But I think especially from us as Park fans, he's so used to being, I mean, again, we've been calling him a robot for pretty much as long as I have been on this show, like on this network. Does it bother him? Yes. It definitely, can't say how, but we definitely know it bothers him a lot. But has he changed his behavior at all? No.
No.
So while it may hurt his feelings, it's not going to change anything that he's actually doing. But I do think giving praise and selling out, and I hate to say it, but forget it. We'll play to his strengths. Again, we want Hoop-de-Doo back because we think it's important. Go sell out Hoop-de-Doo. Go make it a point. Yeah. Buy Dr. Dan's merch. Use our dollars to show him what's important.
Yep.
Don't
exactly.
You know, I'm not saying, you know, don't buy Lightning Lane, because I swore I wouldn't, and then I did. I don't know that I ever will again. But use your dollars, buy the merch, go do the things that show him that there's value and there's money. I say that with caution, because then watch, Dapper Dans are going to stage and you're going to have to pay for tickets to the Dapper Dans. But
it'll be worth every penny, though.
That's how we do it. Yeah. I mean, but to a certain degree, speak his language.
Right.
Start
that's the thing. Like,
Yeah,
I agree. That's a great point. You know, if he's going to look at data and bean count, then, well, let's use your dollar in a way that's going to affect that. And, you know, and you know, I will say to kind of talk about other positive things that I think kind of give us hope. I think we've seen some good things happening as far as like the positive things that I've heard about Cosmic Rewind. I think, you know, to kind of go back to the changes that were made with the Jungle Cruise, how those were good. You know, I think we're seeing some, I think we're seeing like little like glimmers of hope of like positive things coming out of Imagineering. Which again, I feel like that's a whole other discussion of where the direction of Imagineering is going. Right, we don't have another hour and a half tonight to talk about that in and of itself. But I think with how good Cosmic Rewind is, and I'm itching to get down there to ride it myself, because I love Guardians of the Galaxy, and that ride looks like so much fun. But you know, I think that's whether again, go ahead, actually go watch, if you haven't, after we're done tonight, go watch Tom's review of Guardians, because I feel like he makes a very excellent points. It's on the main channel. But anyway, I whether it belongs in Epcot or not, that's up to you. But again, I've heard, as far as the ride itself, I've heard nothing but good things about it. So that, that kind of gives me hope for the direction of getting good attractions in the parks, and again, like, raising that value for your ticket in a way.
No, I would agree. And because again, Disney has never been cheap. Yeah, you could maybe once upon a time, and some people still say that they can do it, that you can ball on a budget at Disney. And I think those days are winding down and are almost gone. But if we're going to pay for it, at least use those dollars to make sense, and to hopefully get sense into anybody, to the people that are counting and they're watching. And that, that's kind of, I guess, to leave it on a message of hope. I think that's the only thing we really can do is, to be honest and criticize the things that are going poorly, but making sure that we're coupling that with praising the things that are actually good. What they've done over at Epcot, for the most part, good. Again, Cosmic Rewind, the reno, that connections and creations and all of that, again, not originally what I would have wanted or had in mind, but at least you can tell that there was care put into it and thought, and it wasn't just thrown together.
Right. Especially that food menu. Yeah. That food menu I was impressed with.
Yeah. I mean, and they just unveiled, was it yesterday or today, the new guest relations at Epcot. Looks amazing compared to what it was. So again, that's great. Those are the kinds of things that we want to see. I still think it's crap that we lost the festival center. I think they're going to pay for that in the long run. And the shading and all the trees and everything that was going to make it feel more together. Maybe, hopefully, that'll come down the pike later. And, I think we can criticize the fact that the Play Pavilion was announced how many years ago now? 3-4 years ago? Because it was announced in conjunction with all of this. Supposedly still happening, but nary a sign of any work on it. I think we can be critical of those things, but we do have to, we can't just be negative all the time, because then they are going to stop listening. Because if Lightning Lane and all of this revenge brought us nothing, is that people are still going to go to Disney.
Right.
They may not come back, but they're still going to go at least once. And as long as this quarter makes money, that is all that Chapek cares about.
Which is very short-sighted. But again, like, that's gonna take another 5-10 years for that to trend to really see that people do come, and then yeah, well, that's true. I mean, hopefully he'll be gone before this year is out, but
who would have thought that we would live in a timeline where Eisner was not the most hated CEO of Disney ever?
That is true. That is fair.
Like, what? How did we get into this timeline on the metaverse? That's still not. That's not the worst thing.
I don't know. I mean, again, that's the thing. I feel like unfortunately, the pandemic starting, that kind of gave them an excuse to do all these extreme things, and they're not going to roll it back.
Well, I mean, Tom and others, and people have been saying it for several years. I mean, it did start pre-pandemic when they started charging for parking at the resorts. You mean to tell me that I'm paying almost $1,000 at that point? I think now it's like over $1,000. But you mean to tell me that I'm paying $900 a month to stay at the Grand Floridian, and you want to charge me for parking my car?
Right.
Say what now? Like, are you? No. Although I will say with that, I have the conspiracy theory that even the cast members knew that that was crap, because I have never once had it enforced on me, because when you do mobile check-in, nobody asks you how you're getting to the resort. So now that you can just drive and check in on your phone and go straight to your room and never have to even visit the desk, how do they know? So, and to those of you out there, volunteer the fact that you're parking your car, because they never check. There's no one going around tagging cars. Not yet, anyway. I'll put that caveat out there.
Don't give them that idea.
They don't have enough people to run the parade anymore. But by golly, we'll figure out how to enforce parking.
They haven't even brought the trams back, like, for God's sake. Not all of them. Good God.
Oh, my God. Poor trams. Poor everything. See, I was trying to be positive, and it keeps just coming and circling
back.
It's so
hard. It is really hard to be a Disney fan right now. Like, it's hard.
It's hard. It's
first world problem, yes, but it's hard.
But it's hard. But I mean, again, like, I have people ask me. I had a girlfriend ask me just 2 days ago, well, where do I stay? What do I do? And I was like, I take the kids to like, would your son is 6. Would he love it? Yes. Are you going to have the good time that you remember taking your other kids? No. Like the trip that my family took in 2006, where we just kind of winged it, and quite literally winged it. Like, we had no dining reservations. My parents didn't look into anything. We didn't figure out that FastPass was even a thing. We were down there for, I think, a full 7 days. We didn't figure out that FastPass was a thing until like day 2. We knew absolutely nothing. Like, I remember the last like vacation video that I had, Animal Kingdom wasn't even a thing. Like,
wow.
We had been Disneyland people a few times, like once, and I love the movies and everything, and I liked watching the specials on TV, but like, we knew nothing. Parents knew nothing. Didn't even bother to look into a thing. We had the best family vacation ever. That is still the one that my family talks about, is when we took, like, when we were all kids and we went and adventured at Disney for a week and just figured it out together. And I think back now how we did that at the end of July and killed each other. The world will never know. The world will never know, because it shouldn't logically have happened. Disney magic, I guess. But again, we wouldn't be able to do that now. We would be hot.
Right.
We would be confused. We would be on our phones, screaming at each other, trying to get technology to work. And it's very unfortunate. But again, I think the way that we make a change is, just talk with our money. Put our money where our mouth is. And refuse to pay for the things that don't actually add any value to your trip.
True.
And again, I tried Lightning Lane once, and I hate myself, and I realized that this makes me a slight hypocrite. But I tried it once, just to say that I tried it. And no, I don't think I'll ever pay for it again.
Yeah, I mean, I did it for the stream, because, during the marathon show, because I was like, well, that's the only way, like, I'm going to get on a few attractions without having to wait in line for the entire thing. And, like, again, like, I maybe did it once before that, just again to see how it all worked and to try it out for myself again, so I could talk about it on the air, But I don't think I'll ever do it again. I might do it in Magic Kingdom again, to be honest with you, because there are so many attractions, and the fact that Space Mountain is being added to Genie Plus, I feel like that kind of gives it a better value. Like, that kind of annoyed me, to be honest, that it was a separate paid lightning lane and
a separate charge.
Right. So I would probably do it there again, depending on the day and depending on how I saw, depending if it was a weekend in particular, I might make the effort to do it and get up at 7 a.m. But like especially the fact that you have to get up at 7 a.m. every single day, like that. No, I already have to do that for my job. Like for tour, I had to get up at like 4, 5 in the morning many a time. Do I want to do that? No.
No. Here's the thing. Now, that's the case, like, I think as of this moment. I could be wrong. It may have already changed. I don't know. I can't remember. But when they changed the system to this new, what you're going to have to do, my friend, is you're not even going to have to wake up at 7 a.m. Nay. You're first going to have to wake up at midnight to purchase your lightning lane, and then wake back up at 7 a.m. to actually start making your reservations. Because if you don't purchase it at midnight, it could be sold out. So like parents and adults are going to have to like tag team this. And if you are a agent, woe unto you. I feel bad for you. I don't know how this works. I don't.
Caffeinate.
It was hard enough when actual FastPass Plus rolled out and you were helping people make their FastPass Plus reservations and you had multiple clients. I can't even imagine what I would do now if I was a travel agent. Like how you're going to help people.
That being said, though, plugging the Vacationeer, like go reach out to the Vacationeer. Kamila, who you've seen on Park Center quite a bit. Like she works for them again. They're very knowledgeable. They can help you, and it's free, people. So like, if this does overwhelm you, like go use them. Like that's the thing. Like they're here to help you. But the other unfortunate thing is that with the Genie Plus, since you can only purchase it day of, now that's going to be up to you. But those people can at least educate you on how all of it works. So yes, but unfortunately, even that, like, they can't fully plan your trip now because of how day of they're making everything.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I tried to end it on a positive note. I really did.
We tried. We tried our best, people. We really did.
I guess, so in summary, is there hope? I think there is still hope. I will always think that there is hope somewhere. Do I think that hope is still in 2022? No. But, let us know your thoughts in the comments and in the chat.
Hit the like button, please.
If you are rewatching this on a replay. Yes, hit the like button, subscribe.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, to plug this channel, friends, I don't know if you've heard, but there are some changes that are probably happening this summer. I believe Boxed In is coming back to Unplanned Downtime. And News Tonight, I believe, also might be moving over here. I know that that's been announced on other shows now, but if you aren't subscribed and you like watching those things, please make sure that you are, and make sure that you have your notifications turned on. And if you aren't following us on Twitter, make sure that you also have your Twitter notifications turned on, because we send out the link to the show. Usually there's a tweet before showtime as well over there, in case YouTube has problems, which it often does. So make sure that you're following us on all the things so you don't miss any content.
But yeah. So with that, again, thank you to my lovely co-host Emma tonight. Maddie, if you're still out there watching, I'm so sorry. We'll definitely have you back. Thank you for everybody who stayed along with us on this very different episode of Ink and Paint. both through our technical issues and the topic, because again, try to be positive, but naturally, given the nature and the current state of things, don't know if we really hit that goal. But we will be back not next week. One, because it is Memorial Day, and two, we are currently bi-weekly. But we will be back 2 weeks from tonight. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we are going to talk about Disney weddings. If we can round up a bunch of the girls who have are interested in Disney weddings. That was something that a lot of the girls wanted to share and talk about. And I would love to, again, now that we're kind of getting into summer and wedding season, and both if you're going to get married at the parks or just have a Disney wedding in general, how you can bring those little touches of Disney magic to your wedding and your big day. Again, hopefully
have, I might send some pictures, but I have some fun things. We were going through and doing some spring cleaning, and I have some fun things from my parents' honeymoon that they took to Disney, and that I can share. So hopefully I'll be on that show, or I'll send in pictures and they'll be shared. But anyway, I'm super excited for that one.
But yes, thank you all again for stumbling through with us. Again, we will see you in 2 weeks, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let us know down in the chat or in the comments what you think of the current state of the parks and if you think there is hope. And with that, we will see you in 2 weeks. Good night, everyone.
Bye. Bye-bye.
If I can get